Hello, it's been a while since I've made videos, and I thought of keeping you up to date as to what I'm pursuing at the moment. I'd like to show you what I'm up to by first telling you about the server clusters that I've been setting up. I was testing my HP cluster, and these are the HP workstation XW8200. I've got 4 of them. Each of them has 4 processors, so there's Intel Xeon process CPUs, and at the moment they're running Ubuntu 12.04. I use this machine for modeling and simulation, but particularly also for pulling in big data from social media. So it's all running now. It's been up. 3 of them has been up for a day. The other one has been up for 7 hours since last night. So this is running at the moment, but I'm also setting up this, 4 nodes in one box of the Dell PowerEdge C6100. This server was given by Dell for our research, and I have full access to it. It's hosted within the Birmingham Blue Bear cluster seen here at the University of Birmingham, and that's the website for it. So if you want more information, you can actually come here. It's Birmingham Environment for Academic Research, BEAR, Blue Bear, and you can have a look at the specs, okay, from the website here. But really what I want to talk about is what's hosted in one of these boxes around, down there, and that's the little unit which is the Dell server PowerEdge C6100. From the back you can see that it's that little machine ABCD Ethernet ports. I've got 4 of them. I have access to 3 of them, so for one of them I'm using it for large graphics rendering, and it's really fast. For the second node, I'm using it to set up virtual machines running Ubuntu latest, but a really light version of it without the graphics user interfaces, for pulling in big data. So it sort of replicates the server the physical one you see here, and going back to the spec, for the third one I'll be using it also for modeling and simulation. So I've got 3 servers to play with out of the 4, and that's a really good thing. The servers have each node is a Xeon X560 processor, 2.8 gigahertz, with 48 gigabytes of memory each node, and 250 gigabytes of SATA 7.2K hard disks. Running the system, you can see that one node, each of the node, I've got 4 of them. Each of the node has 16 CPU usage history shown here, and when you're rendering things, it's really fast. But I want to use it to pull in big data using Node.js with some no SQL databases underneath, but I'm not going to talk about that, but that's for another video. So I've got some hard disks left, and so if we have a look at the virtual machine, I'm using Oracle VM VirtualBox, and I've got Ubuntu. This is actually 12. I've upgraded it, so it's the Ubuntu 12.04 Precise Pangolin, and that's been installed and it's running nicely right here. Okay, so that's one of them. The other 2, A and B, they have no graphical user interfaces, so that's A and B. Okay, bring it bring it alive. So you see that I've named them Ubuntu Dell Mini A, Mini B, and that's the Dell master. So the reason I want to set this up is to replicate my physical server and to test things from here, so that because it's running in a really protected environment, I can make it really secure. So what I'm going to do now is to set up another virtual machine, and this mini version is running, installing from the 64-bit version, the Saucy Salamander Minimal CD. It's only 36 megabytes, and it has been downloaded earlier as a Mini.iso file. And this is the explanation for it. So I'm using the 64-bit version. Okay, and that's the file. So I'm going to set up a new Ubuntu Mini C. I'm going to call it C, so that I've got 4 servers, and it's the 64-bit version. I'm going to pull this up to 8 gigabytes of RAM because I've got a lot of them to play with. So I can set up as many virtual machines as my RAM allows. I'm going to create a new virtual hard disk, VDI, fixed size of 8 gigabytes each. Okay, I'm going to name it Mini C. Create the virtual hard drive now. Okay, I'm going to go to settings, and these are the the default settings I have, and it's basically stored there in my account. Okay, for the system I'm running 8 megabytes of RAM, processors. Actually, one of them for now. I can always increase it because I've got lots of them. Okay, 32 CPUs. Interesting. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 24. So that's possibly the limit. The rest will be simulated, I guess. Okay, 24, shown in the green patch. So maybe just one CPU for now, because I won't be processing a lot, but it's basically pulling data only. Okay, and going to the display, 12 megabytes sufficient because I'm not running any GUIs. It's basically command line. For storage, I'm going to load the Mini.iso from the downloads earlier. Audio network card. Okay, I'm going to make it 2 network cards. The first one connects to the net. The second one is the internal network, which I use for talking in between the servers. It's really easy to set up. Now that it's all set up, we can start it and start the installation process. So that's 1, A, B, okay, and this is C. Okay, I can actually close this, but let's just minimize it, and that's the master. So let's start the installation. Okay, it's English, of course, United Kingdom. You can try to select the keyboard layout. It's UK, the UK, and this is the Ethernet that connects to the internet. So I'm going to use that. Okay, I'm naming this Ubuntu Dell Mini C. Continue. Again, it's United Kingdom from the mirror of the Ubuntu archive. Okay, I'll leave this as default and let it download as it's installing. Eugene 2. Okay, a really weak password, but that's okay. And so it's detected that I've used a less than 8-character password, which is too weak, but that's okay for for something that's internal. I'd like to encrypt the home directory and put that as Europe London for me. Okay, I'd like to use the entire disk, okay, all of it 8.6 gigabytes, and I'm going to save this to disks. So while it's setting up, let's from the virtual machine, I'm going to click the right control key so that my mouse comes out of the virtual machine. And let me just quickly show you that I can actually ping 68.100.101. Now 101 is this Dell Mini A. Okay, and I can ping 102. Okay, and I'm going to set up the Mini C as 103, so they all talk to one another. You can SSH in 01. Okay. Okay, and that's Mini A. So it allows SSH, provided that you have installed open SSH server, okay, on all the machines. Okay, so that is necessary. So installing the base system is now 83%. Okay, so it's a quick installation. Okay, as long as all of them can talk to one another, then it's really easy to set up from that foundation. MPI, Node.js, MongoDB, Redis, sharding, and so on and so forth. Okay, it's upgrading the software, and it won't be long now before everything is installed. And here we go. I'm going to put install security updates automatically. And this should be quite fast. Okay, maybe I should come back and come back. Oh right, okay. So this is software selection. It says at the moment only the core of the system is installed. Tune the system to your needs. You can choose to install one or more of the following predefined collection of software. So maybe I'll just use the arrow key, spacebar. I'm going to pick just these three. Okay, and let it continue the installation. Okay, and this should be quite quick. Okay, whilst it's doing that, okay, I'm going to come out of it with the right control key. Let's go to sleep again. Okay, I'm installing htop, and htop basically allows you to view the CPU memory usage and swap files, as well as all the processes with the PID. Right? Okay, Control C. Okay, Control C. So let's go back to the installation. It says install the grub bootloader on the hard disk. Yes, I'm going to install that. And soon after it will ask for a reboot. And by then we should be removing the Mini.iso CD and letting it reboot for the first time. Okay, leave that as a default. Okay, it's asking me to remove the installation media, so that's the VirtualBox media. Right mouse click on it, remove this from virtual drive, force and mount. Okay, we have finished using it. It should be okay. So there's no more CD in there, and let's reboot. Okay, Ubuntu 13.10. Okay, so as you can see, this mini version, I have not installed a desktop GUI, so it's booting to the command line, and that's what I need, because really the Mini A, B, and C is used for sharding, for for clustering jobs. So it's not, it requires only setting it up once, and it's the master here that controls the rest. Okay, I am in, and I'm going to just do some updates. Okay, that should be okay. Now let me try to ping the master. Okay, that's because we have not set up the static IP and the network properly. So what I'm going to do is to sudo pico etc network interfaces, and I've got Ethernet 0 as DHCP, and we need to set up the second network card from the virtual machine earlier as static IP. So 2.168.100.103, because the rest, let's have a look at this one. So cat, okay, showing that it's 102, and let's just follow that. So net mask as usual, network 100.0, and broadcast to .255. Okay, for the gateway, I'm going to use the Ethernet 1's Great Gateway .15. Control X, press Y, and save it. Okay. At this point, I'm gonna do sudo service networking restart config, and you can see that Ethernet 1. Okay, where's my mouse? Oh gosh, is now available. Okay. right? And if I try to ping 192.168.100.100, getting a response from the master, from A, also a response, from B, okay, a response. And if I SSH into my 68.100, my master, yes, and it's going to ask me for a password, and I'm in. Okay, so this allows me now from this foundation to set up a lot of things. Now if I want to get the SSH working without a password, from the master to the slave, because that's where the master will talk to the slaves. I'm going to exit this, and okay, let's try to get to the master. Okay, from this, okay, that's alright. So I'm going to generate an SSH key, DSA, generate a key. That's okay, we'll just leave it default. Okay, so I've got save the root.ssh. Right, store it in the root. Okay, let's try to get this working. Okay, so okay, so I've got it right there, and I'm going to copy the file to the public file to my slave 168.100.101 as well into the ssh folder as id dsa.pub. Yes. Okay, so it's been copied. Okay, let's check. We can actually access SSH in, but let's check here and see. So for the IDDSA pub, okay, what I can do is to authorize the key. Okay. Okay, now that should be fine. If I go back to the master, I should get in without a password. So that's Mini.A, as you can see from that. Okay, so if you do that, the same process to all the servers, the master can then talk to all the slaves, and it will be really easy to set things up from there, from MPI to various distributed processing software that requires the master talking to the slave. Okay, so that's it. If you like my videos, please subscribe, like, and I shall see you in the next video. Thank you very much.